And another quote that I heard you use was, I don't think it's a quote. It's a, let's call it a generic uh, phrase that's used in the. And again, I do apologize if I use any of the wrong terminology, but within the Black community, where they say therapy is for white folk,
Yes,
and we go to church.
absolutely.
And do you think that's where the drama comes from? Is because it's
Mm,
a form of therapy.
listen, so unresolved issues show up as drama. We'll call it drama. It shows up in this dysfunction that we have in our families because we have unresolved internal issues, or we have unresolved issues with people within our family, and these dynamics that go unchecked results in all this drama. And so when church has always been a cornerstone, the cornerstone for the Black communities coming out of slavery, civil rights era, even to the present day, the Black church is still pretty foundational for a lot of families. And we didn't have, and so I don't blame the church for this thought belief that depression, it's spiritual, and you just come to church and you'll be okay. Because if you look at a certain time period, we didn't have access, we barely had health care,
Hmm.
especially if you're looking at coming out of slavery. If you look at those early years, Reconstruction, we barely had to, we
It's access to resources.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
you look at, we can, whether we're looking, and I don't want to go, we're not going down the religion thing, but if we look at any one of the countries that are not G8 countries,
Mm-hmm.
access to resources at one point in time, having a cell phone, a mobile phone, was a resource that was inaccessible to much of the world. Now that's not. You can go literally anywhere in the world,
Right.
and there are things. But to understand that there was a time where
Yes.
they didn't have that, you would travel to, some of the remotest countries in Africa, and tourists would be bringing pens and pencils because of the simple lack of resources.
Resources.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's, it's so important to have the resources and to understand that even still in our countries, that there are people who don't have access
Mm-hmm.
to those things, and not having access to those things, even including going to a library if you so choose to read a real book, instead of doing an audible, because
Right.
obviously if you don't have extra finances going on something like audible, you can't do that. So
Right.
your knowledge base of what is possible for you is directly linked to access to
Access.
resources. in
Access to
in
resources.
yeah,
Yes.
in when I was growing up, my equivalent to, your the therapy for white is for white folk, is
Mm-hmm.
therapy is for broken people.
Oh,
That's yeah, I
wow.
know. That's when you
Wow.
said that, I went, because it had crossed my mind a couple of times, but that's what I grew up with.
Mm.
Is it's for broken people, and if you're not broken, you don't need to have anything fixed. Not that therapy fixes you, but those are the words that go
Right.
along with it. So we all have our crap.
Right. I remember, I think it was definitely, I heard it from Oprah, and it's a quote that I grew to appreciate because it was so true. Because a lot of times when you're going through things, when you're going through family drama or whatever it is, work, drama, church, whatever it is, that no one leaves out of here unscathed.
Mhm.
And I found some sort of comfort in that, knowing that everybody's got something. Everybody has something that they are dealing with. Now, are there levels to trauma or to whatever it is you're going through? Absolutely. But we're not, no one is leaving out of here problem free, unscathed, happy all the time. That's not life. And so that point is like, well, if therapy is for broken people, I would say if you're breathing, you could probably use some therapy, even if it's for a session or two to help you work through some issues or to work through just to talk some stuff out, you know?
Yeah, it's important. It's so important to get another perspective. And I think it's most, this is my personal opinion, is it's most valuable when you yourself understand that no matter who you talk to, they do bring bias. They can have their education, they can have their certifications, they can be the quote the best therapist in the world or best person to talk to, but they do bring personal biases. And as long as you recognize that and don't, kind of don't go in believing that it is gospel of what they're saying, then you are going to get something out of getting a different perspective from someone. And that's
Absolutely.